Is an exit tax on its way here in the UK? Well, there are certainly calls for it by a Labour-backed think tank, the New Resolution Foundation, who are calling out for an exit tax in the UK in an attempt to curb the many thousands of millionaires and many more wealthy individuals who are fleeing the UK for sunnier, safer and more tax-efficient climates. In this video, I'm going to run through when this might be announced, if it is, and what this would look like on a practical level and everything you need to do to make sure you can avoid this. So the first thing, what is an exit tax? And quite literally, it's a tax when you exit the country. They have exit taxes in place for companies that migrate, so on a corporate level there are exit charges already in place, and effectively the way it works for corporation tax would be pretty similar to how it would work on an individual level, where as soon as you cease your UK residence, basically you will pay capital gains at the date that you leave and immediately reacquire your assets. So you're treated as disposing of them in the UK, you would pay a full UK capital gains tax liability on that. So whether that was property that you own, buy-to-lets, limited companies, so if you own stocks and shares, you would be treated of disposing them at the market value at the current date when you cease to be a UK resident, most likely. This would then give a capital gains tax liability of a 10, 20, 24%, depending on the level of capital gain that you have. And then you would have to pay that over to HMRC before you can leave the country. So for a lot of people, you would effectively be stuck here because many people aren't cash rich. You might have assets, you might have investments, but not many people have a quarter of their net worth lying around in cash, ready to pay any tax bills just because they want to leave the country. So for a lot of people, they would effectively become tax prisoners, stuck here in the UK because they can't afford to leave. And this is exactly what Labour want. They want to raise the taxes, but they also want people to stay. So, as you can see, they are telling people that they should brace themselves for something quite extreme coming this October. They're changing the non-dom rules as well. Originally expected to generate £3 billion of additional tax revenue, but actually now further studies show it's going to cost £1 billion of tax revenue because wealthy people will simply stop coming to the UK. We're in a digital world. Nobody's really tied to a country anymore. Most people can run international businesses from anywhere in the world with just a laptop, Zoom calls and everything else. So ultimately the UK government need to wake up and realise this. They can't tax people to high heavens and make them stay in the country because people will just leave, especially now whilst they can, whilst there's no exit taxes in place. But if they are looking to introduce an exit tax, when will it happen? So 30th of October is the budget date. And if they are looking to announce it, that's when they will do it this year. And it's a case of, well, it could come in force immediately. So literally 30th of October, anybody who becomes non-resident after that date is caught under this exit tax. That would be absolutely catastrophic for taxpayers in the UK. Or more likely, it will be the following tax year. So April 2025, the new tax year is when the legislation will apply. It's hard to say exactly how extreme it will be, but as you can see, the rules that exist for companies, that's typically how exit charges apply. So they would look to follow suit, something on those lines for individuals. So realistically, if you are an individual who's looking to leave the UK, you're on the fence. If you don't want to leave the UK, you're not concerned about exit taxes, don't worry, you can stop watching this video because it doesn't apply. But if you are honestly on the fence or are looking at moving outside of the UK over the next year or two, my advice at the minute would be look to expedite that so that you can be certain of your residency and tax position. Because if you decide October, November, December, when it's too late, when these new rules might be announced, then unfortunately it's too late, you'll have to pay that exit charge if it's introduced. But it's important to say, at the minute, we don't know. So there's a good chance that this exit tax might not be introduced, but there's also a good chance it is. It's one of them things at the minute, because we've got a new government, because they are being very draconian, very harsh, very socialist in what they're looking to achieve here. They've got these massive black holes to fill because they're sending so much money overseas and paying for hotels for everybody around the world. Well, actually, we've got to pick up the bill for that. So if they are going to continue on this path, an exit tax is definitely on the cards. That's what I will say. An exit tax is on the cards. There are some serious people looking at exit taxes and the possibility, the scope of how easy it might be to introduce, looking at the tax revenue that it might introduce and basically keep secure in the country. And when it comes to the 30th of October, there will be some big decisions made. So if you are on the fence, just look, have a call with myself, run through your options. So even if you come across, move outside of the UK now, whilst the position is certain, if you want to come back to the UK in a couple of years, in the event the exit tax isn't introduced, you will be protected because you've already left the UK. So fortunately, the position in the UK is very uncertain, but if you are looking at moving, my recommendation would be to do it as soon as possible so that you are protected. That's all for this video, guys. Make sure you smash that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as we post more brand new tax saving content. Bye for now.